Got it.
Perfect.
So InQ, we are thrilled to have you here in this space. Literal is a bilingual magazine about the arts and culture. We, of course, favor Latin American voices, but we also have, we want to create a bridge among, between, Latin America and North America. So we really thank you for being here tonight. And I would like to introduce you so, people get to know you a little bit better. So InQ is the stage name of Adam Schmalholz, an American award-winning poet and multi-platinum songwriter, a National Poetry Slam champion. His groundbreaking achievements include being named to Oprah's Super Soul 100 list of the world's most influential thought leaders, being the first spoken word artist to perform with Cirque du Soleil, and being featured on A&E, ESPN, and HBO's Poetry Jam. He has inspired audiences around the world through his live performances and storytelling workshops and poetry retreats around the world. Many of his recent poetry videos have gone viral, with over 70 million views combined. He's the author of Inquire Within, and we are thrilled to have him today in Literal. So, InQ, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here with us. And today, Gwendolyn Lozano Tovar is also with us. She's also a poet and a close collaborator of Literal. So, Gwendolyn, thank you so much. And thank you so much for making this possible.
It's my pleasure to be with both of you.
So I'll start with the first question, and then Gwendolyn can take over me. Your work seems to be closer to the oral tradition of medieval bards and storytellers than perhaps the written word. Do you regard your voice as the main medium for your poetry? Do you feel more connected with a large audience during spoken word performances or with the lone reader than absorbs your poetry in the intimacy of her or his own voice?
Oh, that's so beautiful. What a wonderful question to start off with. I value them both equally because they're different, but different in beautiful and powerful ways. I write as living, breathing documents. I want to share them with people in person. But when I'm able to put them into a book like Inquire Within, and they're able to sit with them on their own, it breathes new life into them for those people in their voices, put through the lens of their own truth and their own experiences. Sometimes people will come up to me after a show and they'll say, that line that you said, and they'll say the line back to me, and they'll say, that line was so good. It really made me think and feel, and I think I'm going to make some change in my life based on that line. That's a really, really powerful thing that you said. And it's not what I said. I didn't say that. I said something different, and they internalized it differently, and they interpreted it differently, but I never correct them. Because who am I to tell somebody else what it is that they need to hear? Even if what they heard is not what I meant, maybe it's better for them. Now, when I put it into a book, it's right there for them, so they at least have my words, but maybe they misinterpret my, thought or the overall concept, but still, that's great. That's what makes great art, is people experiencing art and bringing themselves to it. And so I'm grateful whenever anybody is experiencing my work.
So it seems it's almost like if they were co-creating with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm all about co-creation, and I think our lives are a work of art. Every moment is a work of art, and it's up to us to recognize that and show up fully.
That's so wonderful. Thank you. And that's how I discovered your poetry, through your voice, because I listened to one of your poems, a beautiful poems, Father Time, very powerful. Walking in the woods, I heard your voice, and it connected so well with me, and some things that my father himself went through. And but I also got your book, and it was a different relationship, as you mentioned. And I love the way how you sign with a stage name, nom de plume, InQ. And I want to talk about your name because I love the way how you start this book saying, defining myself is like confining myself. But you are undefining yourself using this name, not as a name, but as a choice to be permanently like in a threshold and willing to return back and again to your present moment. And that's so beautiful throughout the book. You have all these connections. And so I was wondering if you consider poetry as a contemplative practice, because you have an inhale chapter and then you have an exhale chapter, and you have so many poems that are really verbal meditations. What do you think about this as a practice?
I think all creativity is a form of meditation. And for me, it's been my earliest and most meaningful outlet for emotions, thoughts that were still unexpressed, ideas, dreams, curiosities, and I get to pour them all out onto the page, and they inform me of who I am at that moment. But then I try not to get trapped by even the momentary truth, because there's many truths that I've had in my life that later became untrue for me. Things that I believed that I don't believe anymore. Positions that I had that I was willing to fight for. And then I realized, wow, I have new information, and it changed who I am and how I view that particular thing. So I try to remind myself always to approach my poetry and my life with surprise, to allow myself to be surprised. And then in that way, I'm forever in exploration. You know, life is about growth. Life is about change. And when you stop allowing yourself to change and grow, you start to calcify, and you almost speed up your death. I mean, not to be like overly intense, but I really believe that. And so it's not even that you have to make changes or you have to make different choices. You just have to accept that you always have choices, and that change is happening all around you and inside of you. And I think in doing that way, you end up feeling more alive.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I think it was a choice to be returning to that present moment. And also it seems like you write from emptiness. You have a beautiful poem called Silence, and it's an empty page. It's a black, it's a white canvas full of potential. And I guess you're still writing that poem. So yeah, meditation is big for you, but also is travel and perspective. You have another poem called Higher View, which is absolutely beautiful. And you say gratitude is your destination. And Adam, you travel the world sharing your poems, and you really inspire so many people around the world. How do you connect travel and poetry? Do you think gratitude is also a practice to be in constant awe for the world, and I don't know, feeling that gratitude and showing it to the world when you travel?
Yes, absolutely. And you know, it's something that I understand, but it's something that I have to remind myself to apply. You know, gratitude is like going to the gym. You
Right.
don't always want to go, but you're always grateful that you did, you know, like it's always worth it to build the muscle of gratitude. And part of the way that I do that is by traveling, because when you travel, you're outside of everything that is familiar to you.
Right.
And so when we were talking about growth and change earlier, it's easy to get stuck in your routines. And when you get stuck in your routines, you can fall asleep to your life. And so travel is a way to wake up. And I do it as much as I possibly can, while also balancing that out with rest and rejuvenation and the importance of home.
Of course, and you are paying attention, as the great Mary Oliver suggested. Poetry is, after all, the art of paying attention. And you are, when you travel, I guess you are also being curious about other cultures and foods and languages, as we were saying before. But I want to speak about the planet and the environment and the climate change that you are so concerned about in your poems as well. Because you do talk about the planet because you love it. So I would like you to share more about how you approach this topic, and if you consider poetry has a purpose. Does it have a purpose to awaken love, to illuminate that which is invisible? You have another beautiful poem called One Little Dot. And you say, you wonder why something so big seems to be invisible. It's your job to illuminate what doesn't seem to be there for so many people.
That's such a nice question. Yes, I would say that I try, but I first try to illuminate it for myself. You know, you can't illuminate it for other people unless you illuminate it for yourself. So when I'm writing, I'm just focused on the things that move me, the things that piss me off, the things that inspire me. And I start there. And if I start in a place that is true, the rest of the poem will almost write itself if I give it enough time and space. Specifically, when it comes to the environment poem that I wrote, which is called One Little Dot, and is in Inquire Within, I was focused on the idea that ownership changes how we behave. And for a lot of us, we protect the things that are ours. You know, there's this idea of I protect my house and my wife and my land and my blah, blah, blah. Everything is my. But when it comes to nature, we see it as like an external thing. So we look at it from the standpoint of it's our planet, you know, it's our ocean, it's the sky, you know, it's out there, rather than really understanding that we have ownership over this place, and we have to be stewards of this planet. And as I said, when I'm writing, I'm just reminding myself, because it's so easy to forget. You know, it's so easy to get caught up in the things that you want, you know, the life that you want to live. And I'm a victim to that as well. So it's just a way to keep me on the right path.
Wow, well, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I don't know if Rosemary would like to ask something else to Adam.
Thank you. Would you please share with us a poem, maybe Father Time or 85 or
yeah,
any?
Which one would you prefer? Which one would make
or both?
you happy? Oh, both.
No,
Oh,
just,
no.
I mean, as you wish, you want or.
Okay, well, maybe I'll do Father Time, because you had mentioned that one earlier. So
Okay.
I'm staring at the number, wondering if I should call. I can hear the tick-tock from the clock on the wall as it meshes with the thump-thump beat of my heart. Sometimes getting something started is the hardest part. I didn't meet my dad until I was 15. I'd seen his photograph, but his image was sickening. A coward with a dick, but no balls to back it up. See, when he left me as a kid, I had cause for acting up. The funny thing about hate is the person you hate doesn't feel that hate. You feel that hate, but wait, the weight can be too much for a person to take. And personally, I was hurt, so I just locked it away. I was angry all the time, and I didn't know why. I couldn't handle my own rage, so I would hide it inside. Pretending everything was fine became a daily pastime. Time passed, and I started to believe in my own lies. I took it out on my mom because she raised me alone. The rage that I couldn't own had left me totally numb. It was like landmines in my mind that I didn't understand. So when the boy inside cried, the young man outside yelled. I think I learned about my masculinity from TV. The people weren't real, so I knew they couldn't leave me. I would sit there for hours right in front of the tube. The images that I saw were my depiction of truth. It was manhood in a box, and I bought into it. The censorship of anything inside of me that's sensitive. The sentence is a lifetime of tears suppressed in a stone face, an overblown ego they've distracted through a paper chase. Back when I was 9, I imagined in my mind that my father was a spy working for the FBI, and that's why he couldn't stop by, write or drop a line. He was off saving our lives from the bad guys, but that was just a lie that I used to get by so that you wouldn't see the tears welling up in my eyes. When you're rejected by the person that you're created by, you secretly feel like you don't have a right to your life. I thought if I confronted him, then it would make it all right. But since I couldn't forgive him, it just recycled my spite. I remember meeting him for the first time. Every time a person passed by, I would ask, Mom, is that him? I look a little like him, right? No? Oh. What about that guy? And that was what it was like to meet the man that gave me my life, to shake his hand and look into his eyes. We talked till he apologized, then said our goodbyes. I walked away on my own, then I began to cry. Now, for years after that, I acted like it was all resolved. I had told him what I thought, so I figured problem solved, but it just re-evolved. My insecurities were eating at my mental health. I took it out on the world because I hated myself. That's when I finally decided I needed some help. I opened up. I started writing and sharing about my past. I got honest with myself, and I started chipping at my mask. I looked into the mirror and confronted what I saw, accepting the reflection by embracing every flaw, then directing the connection into breaking down the walls by reflecting the perfection of the God inside us all. I stopped focusing on everything that I had been hateful for, and I started focusing on everything I could be great. And personally, there's a lot that you can be thankful for. If pain is dragging you down, just cut the ankle cord. That's when the weight lifted and I really started living. It's when my hate shifted and I really started giving. It's when my fate twisted. It was like an ego exorcism. Your mind state can be the most powerful of prisons. My father never played catch with me or gave any advice. But if nothing else, that man gave me my life. And that's enough for me. If that is all he could ever give, because I'm appreciative for every day I get to live. And even though I don't need my dad to validate me, I thought that I should write this poem to thank him for creating me. Because every moment that we are alive is like a gift. And if that's not enough to forgive, then what is? I'm staring at the number, wondering if I should call. I can hear the tick-tock from the clock on the wall as it meshes with the thump-thump beat of my heart. Sometimes getting something started is the hardest part. I pick the phone up. The dial tone begins to sing. I punch his number into it and it begins to ring. ring. Hello, Mike. Hey, man, it's Adam. Your son.
Oh. Wow.
Super powerful.
Powerful poem. Thank you, Adam.
Yeah, thank you for listening to me.
Thank you. Thank you for this poem. It is, sorry, I just want to say, it is true when Mary Oliver said that poems are like fires for the cold, like bread in the pockets of the hungry. It is true for you and for us all. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for saying that. Yeah.
Connecting with you.